You can lead a team. You can lead a conversation. You can lead a family through pressure. You can carry your responsibilities. Show up when people need you. Say the right things. Keep things moving. Be dependable. Be solid. Be the one everybody leans on. And then the room gets quiet. The phone stops ringing. The day slows down. It's just you now, with your thoughts, with yourself. And somehow, leading yourself feels harder than leading everybody else. Not because you're weak, not because you don't know better, but because private leadership is a different kind of weight. Welcome back to the Eminence Legacy podcast. I'm Jose Luis Cadena, and this is Midnight Questions, the space where we don't rush, we do not perform, we do not talk over the truth. We sit with it, and tonight we're sitting with this question. Why is it so hard to lead yourself? Most people think self-leadership is just discipline. You wake up early, you stay focused on what you said you would do. And yes, that is part of it. But if we're honest, that's not the deepest part, because the real pain is not usually that you do not know what to do. It's that you do know and still negotiate. You know what brings peace, but you reach for what numbs. You know what needs to change, but you keep delaying the move. You know what matters, but you keep handing your time to what drains you. And that's what makes this hard, because when you fail yourself in private, there is no room to blame, no crowd to perform for, no easy excuse to hide behind. It's just you and the truth that you didn't lead yourself well today. That's a different kind of ache. And maybe that's why this question stays with people, because it's one thing to be overwhelmed by life. It's another thing to realize your hardest battle has been with your own inconsistency, with your own hesitation, with your own compromise, with the part of you that can show up strong for everybody else and still go soft with yourself. That hurts because it creates something deeper than frustration. It creates doubt. Not doubt about your potential, doubt about your follow through, doubt about your own word, doubt about whether the version of you speaks with conviction is the same version that can actually carry it when nobody's watching. And that's where people begin to drift from themselves, not all at once, quietly, one broken promise at a time, one delayed decision at a time, one avoided truth at a time, until the real question isn't just, why is it hard to lead myself? It becomes, when did I stop trusting myself to do what I said? That's the wound right there. That's the pain. I think part of the reason self-leadership feels so hard is because it asks for something most people are not used to giving themselves. Honest command, not motivation, not mood, not inspiration. Command, direction, standards, follow through. And in private, that gets complicated, because when you lead yourself, you are both the one giving the instructions and the one tempted to ignore it all. You are the one setting the standards and the one trying to bargain with it. You are the one who knows what matters and the one who still has to confront what you keep choosing instead. That tension is real, and nobody really sees it. They just see the outside. They see your functioning. They see your success. They see you showing up. They see you handling things. But they do not see the internal conversation, the part where you know you have been divided, the part where one side of you wants peace and the other side keeps reaching for familiar patterns, the part where one side of you wants growth and the other side keeps asking for comfort. That is why self-leadership feels heavy, because the resistance is inside the house. It's in the mind, in your heart, in your very soul. And if we go deeper, sometimes it's hard to lead yourself, because leading yourself means grieving the version of you that can no longer stay in control. The scattered version, the distracted version, the emotional driven version, the version that waits until it feels right, the version that says, I'll deal with it tomorrow. The version that wants results without surrender. That version does not leave quietly. That version resists. It knows your pattern. It knows your pressure points. It knows what makes you tired. It knows what you reach for when you do not want to feel. And because it has been with you for so long, it can start to feel familiar. Familiar enough to mistake it for identity. That's why some people struggle to lead themselves, because deep down they are not just trying to build discipline. They are trying to separate from a version of themselves that has been running things for years, and that takes honesty, that takes patience, that takes courage, because now the battle is not with a task, it is with the self you have been rehearsing for a very long time already. And there's another layer to this. Sometimes the reason it feels hard to lead yourself is because you keep trying to do it without getting quiet enough to hear what your life is actually asking of you. You stay busy, you stay moving, you stay distracted, because stillness can expose things. Stillness can reveal misalignment. Stillness can show you where you are carrying something you were never meant to keep carrying, because some directions does not come when life is loud. It comes when you finally stop running long enough to listen, not just to your thoughts, to your spirit, to your conviction, to the truth you have been postponing, because there are moments when self-leadership is not about forcing harder. It's about becoming honest enough to stop leading yourself away from what you already know is true. Hey, that matters. So what do you do with a question like this? You do not turn it into a performance. You do not attack yourself. You do not make a dramatic promise in the middle of the night and forget about it in the morning. You start smaller, more honestly. Try this. Ask yourself, where have I become negotiable with myself? Not where life is hard, not where people are demanding. Where have you become easy to sway? Where do you keep lowering the standard when nobody is there to hold it with you? Where is that standard? Sit with that, because self-leadership begins where self-betrayal gets named. What have I asked others to respect that I still do not honor myself? Is it your time, your peace, your boundaries, your growth, your voice? Sometimes we want others to treat us with value. We haven't fully committed to ourselves. That's hard to face, but it's true. It's real. What will leading myself well look like tomorrow? Not for the next year, not for the next month, but for tomorrow. What would it look like to keep one promise, to follow one instruction, to stay with one truth, to choose one move that brings you back into alignment? Not hype, not drama, just leadership, quiet leadership, personal leadership, the kind no one may applaud, but your life will feel different. So tonight, I want to leave you with this. Maybe the reason it has been hard to lead yourself is not because you are incapable. Maybe it is because you have been trying to lead from exhaustion instead of alignment. Maybe you have been trying to command a life you haven't slowed down enough to understand. Maybe you have been asking yourself for discipline when what you really needed first was honesty. And if that's you, do not run from that. Stay there a minute, because the moments that feel the most uncomfortable and private are often the moments most capable of changing your direction, because when you're uncomfortable, you will decide to move faster. If this conversation found you tonight, don't just let it pass through. If you're listening to this on a web browser or a link, someone texted you this podcast, do not let this be a temporary visit. Hit follow right now on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Legacy builders do not just visit truth, they stay connected to it. And if you know someone who carries a lot for others but struggles to lead themselves in private, send this to them. You do not have to explain it to them. Just send it. Let them listen. Sometimes the right questions finds people faster than advice ever will. The hardest person to lead is often not the person in front of you. It's the person in the mirror, because that person in the mirror knows your patterns, knows your fears, knows your excuses, knows how to delay, knows how to pretend. But that person also knows your truth, knows your strength, knows what your life could feel like if you ever stop negotiating with what matters. So maybe tonight, the goal is not to fix everything. Maybe the goal is simpler, to get honest enough to stop drifting away from your own direction. This is the Eminence Legacy podcast. This is Midnight Questions, and I am your host, Jose Luis Cadena. Have a peaceful night, and remember, those questions do not show up to disturb you. They show up to direct you. Together, let's rise to eminence. Catch you in the next one.